Move this a little bit further, see what might be spoken about towards the end. Let's see here.
Before is when I first got my first real true introduction into AI. We use it for things like fraud prevention. The company that we acquired, Recorded Future, for instance, they use AI to help fighting cybercrime. You know, how do I create almost like an antibody in your body would go and find an infection and then try to work against it? We're looking at using AI in similar fashion. So AI is a wonderful thing in terms of driving change, but also in helping us to defend better. Both the attackers and the defenders need or will use AI as defenders. I think that's a big part of our.
She was probably asking, I'm sure, like I said, I will post a link to the video for you to look at on your own time to give them credit to the creators of this particular channel. Probably was a question based off of what is the relevancy of AI, how is AI probably used to help in cybersecurity endeavors, is what I would guess from that question based off of that type of response.
Defense also.
Yeah, and Johan, I think you almost took the second point that I really wanted to explore with you. In this space where AI is moving quite rapidly, we could argue that it is a race between the good actors and the bad actors, and sometimes the perception is that the bad actors are making a bigger impact. So when we're speaking towards the widespread adoption of digital payments and just digital inclusion, how do we ensure that it is responsible, that it is ethical, and also just keeping up with the pace at which those with other intentions can't get to vulnerable people?
Look, this is a very real threat. So let's start there. There's in the United States, to give you an example, there are companies out there who provide services, what we call ethical hacking, almost. Well, almost that's what it is. So there are companies there that offers this as a service or competitions between different ethical hackers. The number one.
Just a quick off-tangent statement. I remember watching, I think it was a Yellow Underbelly. It's a gentleman who does interviews with a variety of different people from different walks of life, some very troubled past and things of that nature. You can watch it on your own time. It's not for kids, I put it like that. So if you're a youth and you happen to stumble upon this channel and you're like, oh, what's that about? I wouldn't even say watch it with your parents, unless they're. But definitely watch it with an adult if you're gonna watch it at all, because some of the stuff is quite troubling. Why I brought this up is I remember a particular character, a gentleman who was, he started a career in hacker, a career in crime, should I say, as a hacker, and he was very good at it. And eventually he got caught, but because of how good he was and what he did, he ended up being recruited by the government to be a hacker for them. As he just spoke about, this is a real thing. They do hire hackers to infiltrate or to study or to tackle the negative crime-based applications of other hackers, who are trying to, either steal money, steal information, spying on you, things of that nature. So they find the people who were once in the dark and utilizing their mindsets to find those who were doing what they formerly were doing before they got caught. So it's pretty much turning things on its head, because sometimes the best way to understand a criminal is to hire a former criminal. But yeah, that's a real thing. That's just a little off tangent statement. Just for people who might be wondering, what does he mean by that?
One hacker on the leading boards of these companies today are all autonomous bots. So the threat actors can use AI to penetrate companies at scale.
And this doesn't mean if you're a hacker, that means that you are doing something illegal. Hacker is a very general term, by the way. So I don't want you thinking, oh, I was a hacker, that means I was doing something illegal. No, like there were people who were recruited, and there were people that weren't. They were just good at what they do. So it's two sides of that coin.
Scale. that is a big threat against especially the small businesses. You know, if I don't know how to defend myself and I'm up against a very sophisticated AI bot, it's going to be a struggle. And that's why I think this is so important for us. So, but as I say that, I'm an optimist when it comes to this, because AI in the hands of us as defenders can really help us. Goes a little bit back to our public-private partnerships. We have the tech. With the help of government, we can get into the hands of small businesses to really protect themselves. So I think there's a lot we can do there. I'll give you a quick few things that we do right now. We work with governments as well as with NGOs all across the world to help educate and to bring some of these tools to all sorts of businesses across the continent. There's an alliance that we're part of, which is called the Mobilization for Digital Access to the Digital Economy, MADE. On that initiative, we are looking to bring 100 million people into the digital economy within the next decade. As part of our community pass, which is something that we use for communities, provide them with access, we're looking at increasing that to about 15 million over the next 5 years. So that's one of the initiatives. Remittances, you know, that's $100 billion opportunity. The Africa diaspora, if you look at the numbers, is estimated somewhere between 200 and 350 million, depending on how we count people from African descent. That is a real thing. How do we help them to move money across? You know, people who work in other countries, migrate money back to support their families. That's a very real use case in Africa. We're playing a very big role in that kind of technology, and then startups as well. So there's a fair amount that we do in this space.
Certainly.
MasterCard is very, very smart for hopping on this opportunity. You what they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. Respect to that, and hopefully it does become something that different African countries can utilize. And as he said, throughout the African diaspora, he's putting everything. Hey, he's taking my target audience here, man. He's moving around. I mean, and that's why I'm doing videos like this, for y'all to be exposed to what's going on behind the scenes, because not everybody pays attention to stuff like that. You don't want to be caught off guard, especially if we're talking about doing business and trying to find what are the best ventures to invest in or create, depending on what your what's your flavor. Some people like to invest in already established companies. Some people like to create them from scratch. I'm a for scratch person, but it doesn't mean I wouldn't invest in an already successful company or one that is building and I can be a part of it. So it's a few things I wanted to quickly look at regarding what he was speaking about. He kept bringing up the company. What was it? It was Recorded. I think it was it Recorded Future, let's see, bought by MasterCard. Results including results by MasterCard. I can't. Oh my goodness, y'all are seeing my spelling in real time, y'all. Y'all are seeing my spelling in real time. Recorded Future is an American cybersecurity company founded in 2009 with headquarters in Smolerville. Is that how you pronounce it? Somerville. Oh my goodness, I'm dyslexic today. Somerville. I'm saying Smolder. Why am I putting a P there? Somerville, Massachusetts. The company was acquired by MasterCard in 2024. Okay, so he was saying that this one of the traits of this company is their ability to fight cyber security using AI and aggressive AI. So I just wanted to kind of see why not do a little wiki search? Right, to give you the founder here. It says company received initial funding from Google and In-Q-Tel. Okay. Products analysis, information threat intelligence. So it has machine learning and natural language processing. This is really good as well, especially if you're dealing with there's so many different languages and dialects spoken on the continent. So having the ability to not just communicate or being able to switch back and forth with that, and I think it was also speaking more on other forms of let me just make sure that's link processing, computer science and closely to artificial intelligences represents Yeah, so this is speaking about linguistics. I don't want to overstep. This is a little out of my expertise. We deal with IT stuff. I did not go to school for IT because I don't know if it was speaking about languages or if it's talking about different computer programs. But yeah, it was speaking more of linguistics. But also with machine learning, so that is concentration on the development and study of statistical algorithms that can be learned from data and generalized to unseen data and thus perform tasks without being explicitly programmed. So basically, it's just a fancy way of saying that it can learn from different trial and error and be able to store the information so they can make better decisions in its algorithmic functions or in its step-by-step decision making, things of that nature. So yeah, if you are acquiring a company like that that's already strong in that level of development utilizing AI, I mean, that's a major move. So clearly that is something that will be a good push for MasterCard to expound upon. But as you heard, what were some takeaways from that? They're looking at a big development between now and 2030. They're targeting the 60% of individuals on the continent that are below the age of 25, because that is what that statistic is. 60% of the continent has individuals under the age of 25, with a median age of 19. And they said that 30%, the internet usage has increased by 30% and is going up as 50% soon. So it's a lot to take in that, as Africa as a whole seems to be growing. It also is attracting a lot of foreign investors who want to be a part of that growth. And that is a beautiful thing. But, it is something to be careful about and something to take into consideration. But one thing about it, this is not something that you can run from. This is not something that you can, just wipe your hand away and say, oh, I'm good, living under a rock. And I'm saying that, with all intents and purposes of making the point that not two things are true. One, you have people outside the continent who want to do business. I am one of those people as well. I'm not. I was not born and raised in any country on the continent of Africa, and then you have people on the country in the countries within the continent of Africa that are interested in receiving this type of help and information regarding to what they're offering. So it's not something that's necessarily being pushed upon anybody, but at the same time, it is something that, I guess seeing some of the troubles that we have here in the West, it can be concerning based off the fact that how quickly it's moving. Like, we have had some time, and even then we're still struggling with building a foundation of understanding what we're dealing with here. And AI is just a new frontier. I mean, it's like I said, every day is like it's something. And I do believe there's other conversations to be had about AI. I'm just not going to speak about it today. From what I've heard, as I say, through the grapevine on that one. But it is something that it's hard to navigate. And so for many countries that are very green when it comes to this type of technology, it is something to consider. Like, are they really ready for that next big leap? Since we're ourselves are having issues with it as well. But yeah, y'all, I think that was a pretty good conversation between the two. I'll make sure I leave the link down in the description. If you're enjoying these conversations, if you're enjoying, sitting here researching with me all the different opportunities that are coming on the continent, please like and comment. Let me know what's going on, and if you want to continue to follow this journey that I'm taking with going through this podcast here. And once again, I will also be speaking more about what me and my directors for Wakazi Holdings Group that is sponsoring this channel, what we're doing, please subscribe, follow us. We'd love to have you with us as we move forward. And with that being said, about to go into the next segment. We're speaking a little bit more about the different scams and things like that can happen. Stuff to be aware of, man. That's just life, man. You gotta be smart about this stuff. So if you want to take a moment to join me on that next subject, please follow me here as we move forward with the conversation.
This is the People United podcast. We are
Wakazi